Another way to deal with smaller concentrations, besides using a ratio, is to use milligrams percent. This unit of measure breaks the rule that all weights are given in grams. It's just like percent weight volume, except that the weight value is expressed in milligrams. You'll see some lab measurements, including blood values, that are measured using milligrams percent. The difference between a standard percent concentration and milligrams percent is illustrated on the slide, where 5 milligrams percent and 5% have both been converted to ratio strengths for direct comparison. So 5% becomes 1 to 20 ratio, and 5 milligrams percent becomes the ratio 1 to 20,000. The ratio 1 to 20,000 is 1,000 times smaller than the ratio 1 to 20. Thus, measuring the weight in milligrams means that 5 milligrams percent will be 1,000 times smaller than 5%. This is a big difference that makes it essential to label milligrams percent correctly as 5 mg percent rather than just putting a percent sign after the value. Another unit that's commonly used on lab reports is milligrams per deciliter. A deciliter is equal to 100 milliliters. And by definition, the number of milligrams in 100 milliliters is the milligrams percent. Therefore, milligrams percent and milligrams per deciliter are equivalent units of measure that can be used interchangeably. Looking at a couple of examples, a blood glucose reading is measured to be 100 milligrams per deciliter. What is this value in milligrams percent? Well, we know from the previous slide that milligrams per deciliter and milligrams percent are equivalent to one another. And so 100 milligrams per deciliter is 100 milligrams percent. But looking at some intermediate steps, you can see why this is true. A deciliter is equal to 100 milliliters of blood solution. If we divide that through, it's 1 milligram per milliliter, and then multiplying by 100 to get the percent gives 100 milligrams percent. The next question asks us to convert this value to percent weight per volume. If we have 100 milligrams of glucose per deciliter of blood, we just saw that's equal to 100 milligrams per 100 milliliters. Well, in order to make a percent weight volume, we want to have the value in grams per milliliter, and then we can times by 100. So we're almost there with the milliliters on the bottom, but we need to convert the milligrams of glucose into grams. So we have X grams of glucose per 100 milligrams. Knowing that 1,000 milligrams is in a gram, we can crisscross, and we see that that's equal to 0.1 grams of glucose. So 100 milligrams of glucose per 100 mils of blood is the same as 0.1 grams of glucose per 100 mils of blood. We can divide that through 0.001 grams per mil times by 100, and it's 0.1% weight per volume. All right, go ahead and give the example problems a try, and I will work them out in the next video.